detective with the Raleigh Police Department. I've been employed with the department since 2010, and been in the detective division for the past 8 years.
So were you employed working in that capacity back in October of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Did that afternoon, evening, did you go out to the Hedingham neighborhood?
Yes, sir. We were critically short-staffed on patrol at the time, so detectives were assigned shifts to answer 911 calls, and I was taking a wreck across New Bern Avenue, across from the Hedingham neighborhood, when the calls went out.
And initially, if you recall, what kind of calls were coming out?
Honestly, it sounded to me like a fictitious call, like a prank call. The calls were, what I recall, was for a mass shooter, for that an officer had been shot, and an off-duty officer. And what I couldn't really process in my head was there weren't any off-duty jobs, security jobs that officers were working in the Hedingham neighborhood. So that's what didn't really make sense to me at the time.
Okay. Did something? I mean, obviously that changed.
Correct.
What
Additional information kept coming, and I hadn't left the wreck and had headed that way. And as I got closer, I didn't know the area or the neighborhood at all. Using systems in the car that weren't there when I was a patrol officer to try to figure all this stuff out. I believe it was my third call of my shift. But as I got closer to Osprey Cove, I actually saw some of the residents come out and waving me and pointing the direction. That's something I've never seen before. So I knew it was a significant incident.
Now, how did you know where to go? That you were getting some information?
Correct. From the 911 call, it gave the address.
And so, do you recall where you went specifically?
I believe it was 6036 Osprey Cove Drive.
And what can you describe the scene when you got there? What did you see?
When I pulled up, there were two patrol cars that had gotten there before me. The two officers were taking security positions, so they had rifles out, and they were what I now know is the Greenway, but behind the townhomes on the edges. And I saw a white Honda Civic, and saw a couple different people from the neighborhood that were trying to help Officer Torres. And I recall there was one uniformed. I thought she was a Department of Corrections officer at the time, but no one was rendering. None of the officers. They were, securing the scene, and so I was the first to help render aid, and with the help of the other people there, help pull Officer Torres out of the car and start trying to give him aid.
I imagine that was a chaotic scene. Were people continuing to arrive?
Correct. Ambulance came a short time after other officers came to help.
And I think you had said you weren't super familiar with that area. Is that fair to say?
I don't believe I'd ever been in that neighborhood before.
When EMS, other people began to arrive, what did you do?
EMS loaded the Officer Torres onto a stretcher and took him in the ambulance, and I rode in the ambulance with them. I told, I believe it was a supervisor, a sergeant that showed up at the scene, asked him to take command of securing the crime scene, and I rode in the ambulance with Officer Torres.
When you were trying to render aid to Officer Torres, can you tell the court what types of things you were trying to do and what you observed?
My first impression when I saw him, when I saw his eyes, was that he was deceased. But I don't remember I remember his shirt was off. I don't remember how it got off, but and I asked one of the other officers or someone to cut off his clothing. I went and retrieved a trauma kit from one of the patrol cars that had bandages for critical bleeding, and I saw just a lot of several gunshot wounds, his neck, and chest.
You rode with them to the hospital. Did the emergency personnel continue to try to give life-saving efforts?
They did. They did several interventions. CPR was done most of the time. A few breaks to check for a pulse. I remember them putting IVs in them, and they had me holding one of the bags as we were driving to the hospital.
And once you got to the hospital, what, if anything, did you do?
At that time, I was a detective in the aggravated assault unit, so shootings was my primary investigative responsibility. So I saw there were 2 other women in the trauma bay with Officer Torres. So at that point, I kind of switched hats and started the investigative role. Nurses were handing me, we're retrieving pellets, buckshot, from the 2 deceased and 1 surviving victim, and so I helped bag that and assign officers different roles.